what's up you guys? It's Allison. Welcome back to Financial Flamingo, where we talk about personal finance, productivity, and building wealth through multiple streams of income. I have been thinking about doing this little mini series for a while, and I decided to just sit down and plan it out. So we are going to be doing a couple videos about debt payoff and debt and the different methods on how you can pay off your debt. So in this first video, we're going to be doing the debt snowball method, and then the next video will be on the debt avalanche method, and then the third and final video will be on some tips and tricks and kind of shortcuts you can take on paying off your debt and keeping things organized. So let's go ahead and jump right into today's video. We're going to be talking about the debt snowball method and how to use it and how you can use it to keep yourself motivated on your debt-free journey. So let's get into it. So let's talk about the basics of paying off your debt really quick. So if you are new to paying off your debt, you just started your debt-free journey, or if you are new to budgeting, managing your finances, any of those things, let's just go over some basic things about paying off debt and that sort of thing. So there are two main methods that most people talk about when they talk about going on a debt-free journey or paying off their debt. And these are the debt snowball method and the debt avalanche method. So in this video, we're going to talk about the debt snowball method and how to use it and all the details on that. And then in the next video that will be put up later this week, I will be talking about the debt avalanche method and all the details on that. So those are the two most popular methods. There are other ways that you can do it. You can mush them together. You can do all sorts of things, but I'm just going to go over the basics of the two most popular, since they are the ones that I most commonly get questions on and I most commonly see people using. So first off, if you are just starting your debt-free journey and know nothing about any of this, the first thing that you really need to do if you want to pay off debt is get on a budget. So budgeting is really just a plan for your paycheck. It's a plan for your money. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. I will link a couple of my budget setups up above and as well as down in the description box so that you can check those out. If you are completely new to budgeting, I promise it's not as hard as a lot of people have made it sound. I promise it's not as hard as a lot of people think it is, as hard as a lot of society makes it sound. It's really honestly just a plan for your money and tracking your spending. So it doesn't have to be restrictive, it doesn't have to be complicated, but you do need to do it if you want to get anywhere close to hitting your financial goals. So first tip, if you are brand new to this, get on a budget. Do some research. My channel has some good videos, and there are lots of other great channels on budgeting as well. But get on a budget and then figure out your total amount of debt that you have. So go through all of your different accounts, everything you pay a minimum payment to, everything that's outstanding, make a list of it and make a list of the balance and the due date. That will be your main starting point. And once you have that done, once you have your budget and once you have your debt list, you can move into choosing which debt payoff method you want to use. So now let's talk about the debt snowball method. So what is the debt snowball method? This method is when you pay off your debts from the smallest balance to the largest balance. So you're not worried about interest rates, you're not worried about anything like that other than the actual amount that you currently owe on that debt. The debt snowball method is really meant to help you with motivation because most people can pay off their smallest loans pretty quickly. Some people have higher balances, but a lot of people, their smallest debts are a couple $1,000s, which when you get serious and you start budgeting, most people can pay that off pretty quickly. That being said, you'll get your quicker wins that way. You'll pay off debts faster and you'll start to see progress faster, and that will motivate you once you get to those bigger debts because you've already seen so much progress, you've already done so much. It just pushes you to go the extra mile to pay off the rest of it when the balances start getting bigger and bigger. So how do you go about using the debt snowball method? First, you want to make that list of debts that I mentioned before. So write down everything that you owe, the balance that you owe for each one of those accounts, and then take that list and put it in order from the lowest balance to the highest balance so that you can see right down the list what you'll be paying off in order. Then you'll start paying anything extra on the smallest debt. So you'll pay the minimum balance on your whole entire list during this payoff method, during your payoff time. Pay the minimum balance on all of those debts, except for anything extra that you can allocate to pay debt, you pay on that smallest balance. And that little bit of extra will pay off that debt quicker, and this is the reason why it's called the snowball method. you'll be rolling that entire payment into the next debt, so you'll be paying an even bigger extra payment on that debt. This is why it's called the snowball. You can see as you start knocking debts off, your payments will get bigger and bigger as you're just rolling the money from the payment of the previous debt into the next one. So this is pretty much the whole method. You pay the minimum and anything extra you can on the first debt, pay minimum on everything else. When you pay off that first one, take that whole entire amount you were paying on that first debt and put it straight to the second debt. And you'll just continue doing that throughout the entire list until you have all of your debt paid off. That's why it's called a snowball, because once you start getting going, you will get going, your payments will get bigger, your motivation will build, and you'll just be going so much quicker and just pushing so much harder to pay off debt as you get to those larger balances. When you get to the larger balances, your payments will be bigger because all of the minimum payments and all of the extra that you've been putting to debt will now be going to the bigger balances. So you'll even see faster progress on the bigger ones because you'll have more money to work with at that point. So your momentum is going to pick up as you go through the snowball method. Your payments will get larger and your motivation is just going to continue to grow this way. This is the method that I personally am using to pay off my debt because I love to see those wins, I love to keep track of it, and I love to just roll all of that money into the next debt so my payments just get bigger and bigger every single time I pay off a debt. It really is super motivating to just have those wins and to just keep pushing forward. So here is my budget planner. I wanted to give you a little bit of an example on this. So I have this actually categorized, not just a full list of debts from smallest to largest, but all of my boyfriend's federal loans are in order from smallest to largest here. I don't have the balances in here just because I just didn't write them in when I was doing this, but I have them numbered from smallest to largest and put them in here in that order, and you can see we're paying them off in that order and checking them off as we go, which is also pretty motivating. My federal loans I paid off in order from smallest to largest, and those are now paid off. And then you can see here we paid off my boyfriend's truck. Credit cards, we both kind of keep track of our own credit cards. These are just written in here because we are focusing on all of these other debts first. And then I paid off my Best Buy credit card, and then this actually, I didn't put it in with the Fed loans because it is a different company, but this one is almost paid off. And then this is the biggest loan that there is between my boyfriend and I, so I put it at the bottom because honestly we're not even worried about this until all this other stuff is paid off. And then I do not have our house listed on our snowball, but that would also be down here underneath his SoFi loan because that is our biggest debt that we have. So I have it from smallest to largest, but also kind of like categorized into his student loans, my student loans, that sort of thing. So just write out your list, write your balances on yours. I should have done that on mine. I don't know why I didn't, to be honest. So write your balances in and then put it in order from smallest to largest. The easiest way to find out the balances of all your accounts is to go through your last couple of months' bank statements and check for all of the payments that you've made to all of the different companies. Write a list of them and then go through and get onto all of your different online payment accounts or however you pay your bills and look up the balance at that moment. So you want to just go with whatever it is now. You don't want to change your balances, just go with whatever it is now, put them in order, and then just go straight down the list. The only time that I really evaluate is if we get through paying all of these student loans off, then we might look at what of this has been paid down, because there could come a point where, like, because I pay a minimum payment that's pretty big on my car every month just by default because I have to make the minimum payment. So once I'm done paying off my credit card, there could come a point where paying off my car is going to be quicker than, say, paying off this last federal loan or something. So you just kind of have to evaluate the balances of things as you go through your list. Your snowball could end up changing a little bit, but to just keep it really simple, at this moment in time, make a list of all your debts and pay them off from smallest balance to largest balance. That just keeps it simple, keeps you motivated, and keeps you on track to paying off your debt. If you guys are interested also in tracking this information, this is my budget planner. I will link it above. I'm not going to go through it here today, but this is my budget binder that includes some great pages on tracking your debt and keeping up with your snowball. So I will link that video above as well. So one thing that a lot of people will say about this method is that you will end up paying more in interest, and this may be true. It doesn't take interest into account at all. It only takes the debt balance, and it does really, in this method, take into consideration behavior instead of math, which for a lot of people could be the way to go. Money management is really behavior. You know what you're supposed to do, you can write the numbers down, but doing it and following through with your behavior is what is the hard part. And that's what the debt snowball kind of works with. It tries to motivate you. It works to help you pay off the smallest debts faster so that you can just stay motivated and stick to those behaviors as you get to the larger debts. So just keep that in mind. You may end up paying a little bit extra in interest, or honestly, you could end up paying a lot more in interest. But if you use the snowball method, it could be the difference between keeping you motivated and keeping you paying off debt, instead of getting overwhelmed if your interest rate is low, so you're paying off that debt, but it's $24,000. You could get burned out and overwhelmed because you're not going to feel like you're seeing any progress. So just keep that in mind. There are pros and cons to all of the debt payoff methods, and it might work differently for you than it does for someone else. So just keep in mind, this is a very behavior-based payoff method, not necessarily a math one. So I hope this helped you understand more about the debt snowball method and how you can use it to pay off your debt. This again is what I am personally using to pay off mine at the moment, and so far just in 2020 I have paid off all of my student loans and a credit card using this method instead of trying to just pay off my larger debts. At this point, I have my 2 biggest ones left, and I am just motivated to keep pushing on because I've already paid off 3 debts so far this year. So just keep the pros and cons in mind. I hope this video helped you out understanding how the debt snowball method works and how it works differently than, say, the debt avalanche method. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helped you out. If you did enjoy it, please hit the like and subscribe button. I put out new videos every Tuesday and Saturday about productivity, personal finance, and building wealth through multiple streams of income. Any relevant links and other related videos will be linked down in the description box as well as up in the cards, so be sure to check that out as well. But thank you so much for watching again, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.